easy to fit into.
There was, there was a lot of chapters that were obviously featured in the Bad App, and it was a great opportunity for us to delve into those a little bit more deeply. But there's it was also then to take the opportunity of taking one or two of them in the future and expanding on them. And I think the Minotaurs proved to be one of the most popular.
They're a lot more image rich, aren't they?
Yeah, they're very image rich. They've got that Greek theme, which is nice. So we felt it was quite nice to build on that, and we felt as though we got some good ideas on where to take that, which is the reason why they'll feature in the next Imperial Army.
Just to sort of answer that, as Terry said, it was really good feedback, a lot of interest from the public. But one of the other interesting things about the Minotaurs is there's a certain degree of mystery to them in the background, which is quite deliberate. So that also gives us an interesting place to go over a series of books that aren't specifically tied together, but other than the fact that they have the Minotaurs in them, to slowly reveal that mystery and add more and more detail to them and sort of unravel them. And hopefully that's another thing that will be interesting to the readers going forward, and the people that buy the armies and play them, that there's an unfolding mystery to different chapters, which we can also go with.
Yeah, Sisters of Battle. The Codex was presented over 2 copies of White Dwarf, and I think it's the only army which is completely metal. So, are there plans for plastic Sisters of Battle, or does the White Dwarf Codex inclusion signal maybe the end of scaling down this army?
It's just girl stuff. I can't think it's that important, really. Oh, sorry, it's a joke. With regard to what happens to Sister of Battles as an army, I think that's a Games Workshop question rather than a Forgeworld one. There's some options for Forgeworld to build on it in the future, and we may look at what we do with that. But whether they'll get turned into plastics, get their own codex as a proper book again, I think it's a GW question. And to be honest, I probably don't know any more than you do on that.
Well, the only thing I can add to that, which isn't in fact information, a piece of personal opinion, is one of the things I think would be great to do sometime in the future, nowhere near soon, because we've got a lot of other ideas, is to do an Imperial Army book or books about a war of faith. Because again, it's a part of the 40k background. It's a key part of the background that it's never really been explored into. And it would be nice to have the human beings screaming madly in the actual plot, as it were, and actually show that side of the Imperium and really detail into that. Well, obviously, and there's lots of other opportunities, but that's somewhere really far down the line.
Gentlemen.
You've got the limited edition released as an enforcer, and obviously the repressors are in the background used by the Arbites. Is there any plans to release anything else to go together with that?
What I ought to state is if we do something as an event-only model, it's usually because we believe that it isn't a necessary thing in the game, so it's a peripheral thing, but people might be interested in it. So it's not a precursor or prelude to releasing anything more at the present time. Oh, somebody's been shot.
I'm surprised it took this long.
Usually happens on so yeah, it's not a prelude to anything else. It was a figure that we quite liked to do, and Steve, who designed it, particularly wanted to have a go at it. So we said, yeah, why don't we do one as an event-only model, and then people will buy them thinking they're going to get an army. It's just a cool figure. It's nice. It's a silent dog. Dog theme this year on events-only models. You probably all noticed that. Got that one. Skin wolf. Cyber hound, dog theme. We're going for cats next year, and then we're going for rabbits the following year, which won't be as exciting, I'm afraid. But there we are. Next question.
Chaos Dwarves and the Warhammer Fantasy range seems to have been quite big hits this year. Is there any plans to expand the background and range in the future, like actually bring Chaos Dwarf Warriors in rather than just Infernal Guard or anything like that?
I think we're probably not going to do a whole lot more in terms of rules and background at the present time, because they were fitting into that story as a specific thing. But there's some models to catch up with, and there'll be some bull centaurs.
And the Kadai.
And the Kadai Destroyer.
Yeah, when are
Oh,
they
the
out?
Kadai.
When
Yeah,
are
the
they
Kadai.
out?
Huh?
The Kadai that were, when are they?
Very soon. They're finished, so it usually takes, from when it's finishing a model, it takes about 8 weeks to get them out to people. So as they're finished, and they have been, I think they're out in May. It might be April. No, it might be April. It might be this month, the end of this month. We'll see. I might have lied to you there. You have to take that on board.
We're patient.
Don't phone me up.
We've not done army for years, so we're patient.
Yeah, so the Kadai are out there. There's the Kadai Destroyer.
Yeah.
And there's some bull centaurs. And Edgar, who's done the Kadai, is doing the bull centaurs.
Yeah.
But he refused to show you them today. I said, why didn't you take a picture of them along? And he said, I'm not sure about the armour. I thought, yeah, so I'm not showing them to anybody. I thought it was me, but they are very nice.
Yeah, do look very nice.
Very cool. And the proper bull centaurs as opposed to horse centaurs. So that doesn't mean they look like pantomime cows instead of pantomime horses. But they're proper big muscular things, not horses.
Sorry, related question, but I'll be shocked if I don't at least ask. What base size are they going to be on?
Big ones, monstrous cavalry ones.
Yeah.
Monstrous.
Big.
Not quite sure.
They are big.
50 mil square or 40 mil square?
See, I now look incredibly incompetent at games.
But isn't it?
I can't remember. It's like at least a year since I read the book. I think it's basically the same one that the Juggernauts come on.
50 mil.
There you go.
They're bigger than your average horse. They're pretty big things. They're pretty
Yeah.
chunky, about this big. A lot bigger than an
Thank you
average
very
horse.
much.
Okay, so I'm going to look for somebody over this side, because you guys seem to be asking all the questions, so come on.
Somebody over here must have.
Come on, this seems bigger as well. This seems bigger than that. Oh, we can't have you again. Go on. Are you asking questions on behalf of everybody? Yeah. Just pass your questions to me.
Just check the notes they passed me. Have you thought about doing any collaborative work with Black Library, making models for their characters?
I think that we don't want to get bound in to have to try and do that, and either side doesn't want to be bound in, because it's when you're writing a book and a novel, it's sometimes different from writing a piece of background and making some models for a war game. There is sometimes potential tie-ins, but it doesn't always work as well as you kind of think or hope it does, because with a novel it's more of a characterization and you're following people. Whereas we make games and rules and models which are to do with armies and big battles. So that doesn't mean we won't, because we are good friends with them. In fact, it's been known that we go to the cinemas with Black Library guys and stuff like that, you know. But it won't necessarily be a direct tie-in. They'd be quite capable of covering the same story, but you just see it from a different perspective.
No, I mean, other than the counter thing is, a lot of the Black Library authors don't want to sort of straitjacketing them with us really crystallising what one of their characters is. They've got their own ideas, their own arcs, their own stories to tell with them. So it works both ways round. It's a question of us sort of, do we then write Imperial Armour books based upon their characters, and then, you know, what can we do to their characters? It's rather unfair if we had a very popular author doing a very popular character and I just decide to put a bullet in the back of the head.
I was just talking about the models, not the rules. Or
but what we really like to do is integrate everything across. So it's kind of my point there, in that our stuff works best both ways around, but it's tied. The books are tied to the models, and as Tony says, we can take inspiration from each other quite easily. But I think neither side of the kind of fence wants to be beholden to the other to the extent that it will actually slightly hamstring what they're doing. They just want to avoid the art.
We're going to have to allow some more from this team. Gentlemen in the check shirt.
Yeah, can we expect more volumes than what the last was?
Yes, we'll bring one out today. You already want another one. I don't know. Never satisfy these people. The way I see it is once every year and a half, 2 years, we'll try and get a new book out. I think we'd like to try and do a Warhammer one next, because we haven't done a Warhammer one, and there's lots of different techniques that we can use there and different things that we can show. So certainly probably one more monster things, but probably a Warhammer one. That doesn't mean we won't do a 40k one again. Of course, that might follow, but it's probably going to be 2 or 3 years.
I notice you're continuing to expand the earlier armour marks and the earlier vehicles for I noticed the Spartan over there, which looks fantastic. Are there any plans to visit pre-heresy, any used models that are, that you're bringing out?
What, the pre-heresy period?
Yeah.
So before the Horus Heresy. I think the time before the Horus Heresy is a little bit outside the realm of what we currently do, because all the games are really set in the 41st millennium. And because of the way the Imperium works, it means that there are holy relics of items that have existed for many, many millennia and still exist. So what we're trying to do at the moment is fill some of the gaps of some of the models that might predate the 41st millennium but still exist either in pattern form or actual physical items that we have now. There's undoubtedly a load of interest in people wanting to do heresy, pre-heresy stuff. And a very vocal majority. And I think ultimately it'd be nice to try and get round to certainly visiting perhaps some of the heresy periods and stuff on this Games Workshop in general. It's just a very big subject matter to deal with and digest. And you can't sort of drop the whole of the 41st millennium and say, well, we're not going to worry about the Tau for a bit, or the Dark Eldar, or the Orcs will just wait. And we're just going to go deal with Space Marines versus Space Marines for a bit, or a time where it's even pre-heresy, where we're dealing with something entirely different. Because there's lots of people that obviously play at the 41st millennium, and that's where the games are situated, that's what their armies are that they play. And we only have one lot of resource, and we have an obligation to carry on with that. So it doesn't mean we can't do it, it just means that would be a lot of planning, and it would, it's quite a lot of work to bring that together without dropping the ball on the other side. Sorry, say it again. The Epic system. We haven't got any plans to do any more Epic models just at the moment. Oh, right, those ones. I think what we might do is take some of the ideas and designs over the period of time and redesign them. I think that it always works better if you design the big thing and then scale it down, rather than the little thing and scale it up. We can do that, but it involves going back into the design again, because it was designed this size, and that has its limitations. Titans always look massive in Epic. Epic scale, until you scale them up 5 times, and Reva's this tall, and actually it needs to be this tall. And it doesn't have a level of detail, it doesn't really work, it doesn't have the joints in its legs. So we kind of have to, every time we do that, we have to redesign it. So that sometimes means we end up with purely the name at the end of the day that we carry forward, and then we'll work it back down into Epic at some time. I've got a gentleman white shirt.
Hopefully has been asked already. I was a little bit late in, but Alan and I had a quick chat with you, I think, at Games Day, and there were some rumours about sort of Tzinch-based 40k bits coming out. Is there any developments? Or?
Yeah, you did unfortunately miss the answer to this question, but I'll tell you anyway. In essence, we've got several quite well developed stories to go into the future of Imperial Army. And the one with the Tzinch-based prison insurrection on an Imperial penal colony has been not so much kicked into the long grass as put on hold as something else has come in front of it. So it's not been dismissed, and actually quite a lot of work's been done on it. But it won't be the next book out of the gate now. And it's going to be a larger Warzone-based book involving the Monitors and the Necrons quite heavily. But the Tzinch stuff is still there. We haven't dismissed it, but I think quite a bit of work's been done on it. It's much more insidious by way of a plot than a slightly more open battle that occurred on Brax. And it involves, and all I'm going to tell you is a bit of teaser, if and when we get around to it, it's a cult, it's a Tzinchian American cult that crosses different Space Marine legions that went Renegade. So this World Bear is in it, as well as what's left of some of the Founders and Sorcerers, and more recent Renegades. So it's kind of an overarching